Deep within the opening chapters of Genesis lies a place that has captivated the human imagination for thousands of years. The Garden of Eden is described not as a dream, but as a tangible location with specific rivers, trees, and boundaries. Yet, despite centuries of searching by archaeologists, explorers, and historians, the physical site remains completely elusive. Genesis tells us that God planted this garden as a unique sanctuary, a place unlike any other on the face of the earth. The ground was lush, producing every tree that was pleasing to the eye and provided sustenance for the first humans. At its heart stood two extraordinary symbols, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam was placed there with a purpose, tasked not just to live in paradise, but to work and care for it. The text presents Eden as a real geographical location, complete with neighboring lands and a complex river system. This raises a compelling question. If Eden was a physical place on our map, where exactly could it be? Genesis provides what appears to be a map, describing a single river that flowed out of Eden and split into 4 branches. The names of these rivers are given as the Pishon, the Gihon, the Tigris, and the Euphrates. 2 of these names, the Tigris and the Euphrates, are instantly recognizable as major rivers flowing through modern Iraq, Turkey, and Syria. For centuries, scholars have looked toward ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, as the most likely home for the garden. It was the birthplace of Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria, making it a logical candidate for the site of humanity's origin. However, the mystery deepens when we examine the other 2 rivers, the Pishon and the Gihon, which remain unidentified. No one knows where these rivers were. Some suggest they dried up millennia ago, while others point to buried desert channels. The core problem is that no location exists today where all 4 of these rivers naturally converge as the Bible describes. If the narrative describes a physical place, the geography simply does not align with our modern understanding of the world. Then, a different possibility emerges: the Great Flood, which Genesis describes as a cataclysm that reshaped the entire earth. If the mountains rose and the waters covered the land, the original topography of the world would have been fundamentally altered. Many scholars suggest that the rivers named after the flood might simply share names with older, pre-flood waterways. History is full of such examples, where settlers give familiar names to new places, like New York or Alexandria. If this is true, the original Garden of Eden may have been physically erased, lost beneath the weight of a transformed world. Despite this, the search continues, with modern explorers using satellite imagery to scan for ancient riverbeds hidden beneath the sands. Every new archaeological discovery brings fresh hope, yet definitive evidence remains frustratingly out of reach for researchers. Perhaps we have been asking the wrong question, focusing on physical coordinates rather than the spiritual truth of the garden. After the fall, Genesis records that God placed cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the way back to the tree of life. This detail implies that the greatest barrier was not a physical distance, but a profound spiritual separation from God. Throughout history, mapmakers have tried to draw paradise, but they could never truly cross the threshold of that lost home. Maybe Eden was never meant to be an archaeological site, but a reminder of what humanity lost in the beginning. Interestingly, the biblical narrative begins in a garden and concludes with one in the final chapters of the book of Revelation. The tree of life reappears in the New Jerusalem, signaling that the story of Scripture has come full circle. The Bible is not just a record of a lost paradise, but a roadmap for a way back to God's presence. So, where was Eden? The truth is that no one knows, and perhaps the mystery is part of the point. Maybe that deep, persistent longing for paradise is a fundamental part of our nature, placed within us from the very start. What do you think? Was Eden a real place waiting to be found? Or is it a mystery beyond our reach?